Good evening, Gemini. All right. I like to think these reads are for whatever planets you have in Gemini. It can be your Venus or it could be your Mercury. And of course, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant will be the strongest. Ascendant would be the strongest. Um, so, welcome. My name is Madeleine Parker. I am a psychic channel medium. I host workshops in the Los Angeles area where I teach divination, specifically tarot, of course. And I also give most people at the workshop, everybody at the workshop so far has gotten individual reads. And I teach as I give the read. And in this workshop on Saturday in the Pasadena area, we're going to have a wonderful group meditation with a yogi meditation group, which I think are the most powerful meditations. And then we're going to have an energy healer in the cabana, and then I will also be doing my reads and teaching reads. So if you're interested in attending this workshop, October 5th, 3:30 p.m. in the Pasadena area, do email Madeleine Parker 111@gmail.com. My email address is at the bottom. Also, if you do want a personal read, feel free to contact me by emailing me. And all right, let's talk about the energies, astrological changes that have been happening and going on lately. We have a full moon coming up for Aries, October 13th. We just had a new moon in Libra on Saturday the 28th. At the same time, the Venus star became visible and in the evening star as an evening star. We had Saturn stationing direct last week, so a lot of things that were stagnated and held back are now forward motion. So let's have a look and see how these energies are affecting the energy of Gemini. All right. I call in the highest guides, highest frequency angels. I try not to, I do this usually before I do my reads, but I always try to take a moment in the read to sort of slow and calm the read down and do a little invite the divine energies in on the read, please. Slow myself down. Okay. High Priestess, the Hierophant, Ten of Cups, Four of Wands, nice cards, Three of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands, Four of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, the Lovers, which represents Gemini. That's also the major arcana that is for Gemini. Eight of Pentacles, Three of Swords, Page. Wow, a lot of pages for Gemini, which is interesting because pages represent communication and Gemini represents the third house, which is a lot about communication, Mercury. So I like bottom of the deck, Ace of Cups. I like to make sure I am in the shot because things move and shift as I do reads and talk. All right. Now this looks like a nice read. We've got the Lover's card. We've got some really positive major arcanas out. And again, I like to emphasize with tarot, nothing is really negative or extremely positive. I've had people call me and ask me if this is a really negative read, and it's what is it? Shakespeare says, nothing is good or bad. It is thinking that makes it so. So the cards tell a story, and in the story are ups and downs, as we all know in life. So, but these are a lot of what I would consider up cards. Maybe the Three of Swords isn't, but let's take a whack. Let's go. Starting off with my reads, I like to teach this grid. This is a grid I channeled, and I like to teach it as I go because I survive off tarot reading, and I I know how important it is, divination is in my life, so I really try to help people learn how to do this so that they don't have to constantly come and have reads done, because I need reads every day. All right, I wouldn't be able to afford to pay myself for all the reads I give myself. Okay, now, starting off with the Hierophant, I'm sorry, the High Priestess representing, it's a spiritual card. I mean, look at her. I hear bells as I'm pulling this card up. It's so bizarre. That's like wedding bells. Maybe Gemini are going to get married, and I do get these strong home. I mean, this does look like marriage now that I'm thinking of it. Wow, spiritual relationships, committing to spiritual relationships, marriage, home life. This is quite a powerful beginning of the read. And it's funny because those bells started chiming as I was doing this. So, all right, it looks like we've got the energy of Gemini coming in full on into committed situations, knowing who they want to marry. It's alignment with the divine. If the Gemini know right now in their life, they know who they want to marry, the divine is supporting this. I would say Gemini are now sort of cleared of sort of negative karmic relationships, and they're headed into very, very strong, committed situations with divine partners, spiritual relationships. This really represents a sort of this to start out the read. My first card in the read always represents the situation that the cards want to talk about, and the cards always want to talk about anything that's getting in the way of our positive frequencies. The cards want us resonating at the frequency of abundance, which means head and heart alignment, because heart space is what we really attract. Our subconscious is the energy of our true attraction rate. Our thinking is the perceptions that block our attraction, because we can think thoughts that drop our frequency, and we can feel, we have repressed hidden feelings that are dropping our frequency that we don't really acknowledge. So the cards are trying to help us align our head with knowledge of our heart. And so head, if the heart is in pain, the head doesn't want to see it. The head runs away and escapes. But when we're in head-heart alignment, we are tuned into the state of our heart, into the state of our feelings. So to me, the Gemini have really aligned with a spiritual higher will, knowledge of the heart. We get the Three of Pentacles, working from the heart, cooperating and committing to a spiritual relationship that's supported by the divines, by the higher realms. It's in alignment. Four of Wands, twin flames. The Gemini is the sign of the twin, the lovers. This is an amazing time for Gemini. I'm quite flabbergasted. We get Ace of Cups. I mean, I think we're getting a fresh start. The journey is, I'm jumping back and forth. I'm looking at the Ace of Cups, and then I'm jumping to the Hierophant, which is like, wait a minute, they're going to get married before the relationship starts. It's a brand new start in a relationship. But I think what's happening is this situation for Gemini is a divine partnership. It's so high frequency. It's true love. It's a fresh purity of love. It's a fresh love that reignites. It's true love. Beautiful. This is just great. So now we get the communication. So let's take a look. There's a little bit of out of alignment energies coming down here. So let's talk about that. We get the Gemini are doing really great, okay? They're aligned in the heart. They're working motivated from the heart. This is great. This is heart space, what's feeling. So the Gemini are cooperating. Gemini have a hard time committing, by the way. So this is a big thing for Gemini. To commit to something spiritual, though, is easier for the Gemini. To commit to a true divine partnership, when it becomes very clear, is not so hard for Gemini to commit to. But anyway, we get this commitment in the heart space to motivate from the heart in a new project, which may not be brand new, because the Page of Pentacles is not like the Ace of Pentacles. It's the Page of Pentacles, which is a sort of something that has already been in process, is now giving a boost with a new opportunity. Now let's talk a little bit of but it's a project motivated from the heart. So let's talk a little bit about why is there some out of an alignment, because the Page of Wands here is out of alignment. This is in alignment, out of alignment. Cards facing in are in alignment. So we get the Knight of Wands in alignment. So let's get back to the Page of Wands. What is out of alignment? Not very much, but let's talk about the little that is, which is the lack, because if we don't have a wand in the heart space, so in other words, this is all really high vibrational and exciting and spiritual, but it feels as though the Gemini haven't quite gotten a grip. Because, this is interesting for Gemini, because Gemini has a hard time feeling, allowing an emotional experience to happen. So they're still a little turned away in this experience to not fully, they've still slightly held back, not fully allowing an emotional commitment or an emotional availability, shall we say. But Divine wants you to know that the story that you tell that makes you turn away in your relationships from the past is a truth from the past, and it's over, and it's time to move into divine partnership and be free to allow yourself the full passionate presence in this relationship, because you're turning away a little bit, holding back. And we're committed here. It's spiritual. You're cooperating, you're being generous, and plus opportunities are coming in around this relationship that are supportive. It's very supportive universally, this relationship, but the Gemini are still holding back. So let's talk a little bit about that. So we've got there's a liberation. So now we're getting into divine advice. This is what I like to call advice from the divine. Advice from the divine. It makes a cross. This is actually the 11th card, the in alignment. It's really telling Gemini to let go and be free here. You are safe. This is a divine partnership. This is your card, the Gemini, the lovers, divine partner. Go for it. Enjoy it. Be free. Let it rip. Work at assessing the pain of the past, because the Eight of Cups is trying to get away from the pain of the past and unfulfillment of the past. Assess it, trying to liberate yourself from pain, from reoccurring, or from looking at the past. It causes you to not fully enjoy this, because what the cards want you to know is this is really your time right now to really be a Gemini, and to just and to enjoy the fullness and to experience the joy. And now we get all these communication cards. Let the communication happen. Like enjoy the adventure. And if communication has been disappointing in this relationship or in this situation, because it is very hard to keep up with a Gemini in communication. They are hard to please. It takes a lot to be someone. I mean, it takes a certain type of person who can keep communication with a Gemini interesting for the Gemini. So if the communication is disappointment in this relationship, just enjoy the purity of the love. Enjoy the heart presence, the fun, because you don't need mercurial relationships maybe as much as you think. Or allow that to be the only slightly less thing in the relationship, because everything else is wonderful in there. And Gemini gets so much mental stimulation everywhere in the world. So if that's a slight lack, it's out of alignment for the Gemini to hold themselves back from this. So set yourself free. Allow the feeling, the passion, the raw emotion, the fun, the joy, the childishness that's in the Gemini to be here and to be in this experience, and to not let the pain of the past hold you down, and to just go through the motions of it so that you don't get hurt. You need to throw yourself. For you, Gemini, it's going to be much more fun. You're going to go from the page to the night. So thank you, Gemini. Namaste. Have a wonderful month of October.